Snap Construction has handled thousands of claims, and we'll help you through the process.
Don't go with the out-of-town fly-by-night contractor. Most storm damage goes missed by the untrained eye. Trust Snap Construction for your free storm damage evaluation. For your free storm damage evaluation, call Snap Construction at 612-333-SNAP or visit them online at snapconstruction.com. That's 612-333-SNAP or snapconstruction.com.
Hi, I'm Scott Shamblot from Shamblot Family Dentistry. We're the fear-free, shame-free dental office. We know dental anxiety and dental phobia are real. We'll take the time to get to know you and give you what you need to be comfortable at all times. We offer free nitrous oxide laughing gas and have high-tech options to help you feel calm and relaxed during your appointments. We'll help you get through every appointment in the most pain-free way possible. If you're having a dental emergency, we'll try and get you in the same day you call because we don't like to see anyone in pain. As my daughter Rachel says,
if you don't see my dad, please see another dentist. Take care of your teeth because they're the only ones you get.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been going to Shamblot Family Dentistry for years. They get me in last minute when I'm in pain and make regular checkups easy and comfortable.
Shamblot Family Dentistry in Hopkins and St. Paul. Find them online at shamblotfamilydentistry.com or call 1-800-FIX-MY-TEETH.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilio. Cloudy tonight with a low of 7 above. Strong winds expected, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. Wind chills of 10 below. Then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 18. Chef Carrie's always cooking up something new and exciting at Nightingale in Minneapolis on the corner of 26th and Lyndale in the Whittier neighborhood. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous. Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Cody Cup, hit me cut again.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Haley, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, you are right, Robert. This portion of the show is supported by JS Bean Factory off Randolph Avenue in St. Paul. Only the good stuff keeps us awake.
Hey, I see what you did there. If I would have said Chujunk, you would have said Dega. I got that. Yeah. That was a good one.
Hey, listening.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's not your first round dance. Hoa. Hey, we have our friends Dennis and Donna Dunlap, and they're owners of Native Blend in the great state of Michigan. And I've met you guys online before, and then also you listen to the show quite often. And I want to say welcome, and I really appreciate that.
Well, we thank you. We really appreciate you having us on this evening.
Yeah, thank you.
Right on. Hey, so there's a couple things we should get to right away, and one of them is reaching out in regarding the topics of enrolled members of Lokutere, a band of Lake Superior, Chippewa, and tell us why you're here and how we can help.
Well, I am obviously a tribal member from LCO, and they have been so kind as to distribute monies to us on and off res. They've been doing this for a year now. I believe this is the third payment that is going out, and we went up the first trip. I loaded up a couple of friends and other family members, nieces and nephews, and we trekked all the way to LCO. We're on a 12-hour trip, and unfortunately, we broke down. We had friends from Lac de Flambeau save us, and other family on LCO. They came to rescue us. They picked up everybody but me. I got stranded for 2 days. We picked up our checks. Everybody had time to come back and pick me up, and I was able to get the vehicle on the road. It was just one heck of a trip. So we want to help not only our family, but other friends, people out throughout the U.S. that are unable to go pick up these checks.
The situation with the program is there are some exceptions for not having to travel up. But everyone has to pick up their checks in person, or they have to have a proxy to pick up their checks. So what the situation is a lot of people don't live on res. I believe the numbers are somewhere 8,500 enrolled members, only 2,500 live on res. You have a lot of people that are displaced to various areas for different reasons, some of them from no fault of their own. And it's a hardship for some people that don't have those tribal connections on res anymore to find someone to give a proxy to pick up their checks. So my husband, Dennis, is graciously offering to make that 12-hour trek as many times as he has to pick up people's checks for him. Everyone can use the money. Everyone can use the money.
Yeah. Wow. That's awesome that you're going to do that. How can people get a hold of you? Is it through your business Native Blend, or how can we get a hold of you?
We have several ways they can do it. They can look up Dennis Dunlap on Facebook and private message him. They can look for me on Facebook, Donna L. Dunlap, or they can go to Donna's Native Blend on Facebook and message that way as well. We'll shoot them a quick response, shoot them our phone number. They can call us, and then we'll fill them on everything that they've got to do. It is a time crunch.
Yes.
They quit dispersing checks on the 20th. We would like to be able to try and get them out to people so they can use them for the holiday. So we're looking at traveling on the 15th to pick them up on the 16th, get them in the mail, and get them out so that people can have them.
We should be
we
should be looking out for the Native community. There's so much separation in the world today, and I think it's just important to me to not only connect or reconnect with the reservation, but other tribal members as well. And it just hurts that there's people out there that need help. The general perception on most reservations is that off-res personnel are rich, don't need the money, don't need the help. And that's not true at all. We struggle. Our kids struggle. We have 3 kids. We have 6 grandchildren. And I see the struggles they have. Our other family throughout Michigan, some live closer to Detroit, some live up north. And I know they need the help. They can't travel. So I take care of them. And now I want to extend it and take care of everybody else out there.
That's amazing. And I'm wondering, Haley, if we can blast this out in the email address every day on our show, maybe in the beginning to maybe people that have missed the show, and then make this like the best of.
Yeah, that would be a great way to get word out. And I think for all relatives, especially during the holiday season, like this amount of money that comes from tribal nations and nations that you belong to could really keep someone's lights on or the heat on during the holiday season, or put food on their table, or get Christmas presents for their kids. Like, it really does make a huge difference. So this is really helping a lot of families. And thank you, Pinagigi, for doing this.
Absolutely.
You
Spread the
know,
word. We want to help.
We have
Please spread the
people
word.
all the way out in California, and
Got a
it's,
policy.
you know, is it worth the gas, the time, the energy for the amount of money that they're going to have to pay to get out there? If we can make it, you know, it's a stamp. It's a postage stamp. That's what it's going to take us to make a difference in people's lives for the holidays. We can swing that, you know. We can handle it. We're not asking for anything in return. We don't want any recognition. We don't want people to pay us. We don't want anything. We just want to help our community. That's all we want. We're getting good karma points out of this, you know.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Well, let's say your nation again and how we can get a hold of you.
LCO Lacoudere, Lake Superior Band of Ojibwa. Dennis Dunlap on Facebook. Donna L. Dunlap on Facebook.
Donna's Native Blend on Facebook.
And at www.nativeblendllc.com. Just Google it. It'll take you right to
That's
it.
our website for our products, which we're not here to plug that, but there is a contact us on that website where they can also reach out.
To download the form, go to LCO site at lco.com. It'll bring you right there. The form is right on the head page of LCO's homepage.
And they just got to fill out the form, mail it out to us, and we'll spell it all out to them when they contact us.
Well, I really appreciate a lot of things about you for listening to the show, but also doing this for your community and your relatives. And we'll blast this out too on the best of, and we'll make sure we bring it up as much as we can in the weeks following on that deadline. And wow, really, thank you so much, Big Pinigigi. We're proud to know you.
Awesome. We thank you so much.
Gee, McWitch.
Right on. Pinigigi. And don't forget, Native Blend, check it out. Hey, we'll be right back. This is Native Roots Radio with Arvina Martin. Oh, wow.
When we heal from our traumas,
when we face our fears,
let go of our addictions,
when we relearn our values,
when we live our teachings,
respecting our elders,
cherishing and honoring our children,
when we honor and take care of our spirit,
there will be no room left for sexual violence.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
A home that needs new everything, plus the kitchen sink. Life math is complicated. Affinity Plus makes it easier. With great rates on a home equity line of credit, we make tackling home projects less stressful. Visit affinityplus.org/rates to learn more today. Affinity Plus Federal Credit Union. Insured by NCUA. Equal housing lender.
J&S Bean Factory is a Native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we have our friend Arvina Martin, another Ho-Chunk, who's director of Emerge Wisconsin, and just all around one of our best hosts that sit in for us, because State Representative Heather Keeler is probably listening. So welcome. Well, we have to get you both on a show together, and one of these days when I need a vacation, which is coming up soon.
That would be awesome. I would absolutely be down for that.
Yeah, we had a long weekend, and how do you and your relatives decolonize your Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving.
We all just get together, and spend time with each other, and that's what we do, and try to enjoy each other's company, and either play games or our family is also multicultural, so we have we've got foods from all over the world that are represented, and we just it's just time to be with family and the people that you care about. So that's what we do.
I want, before I start grilling you with questions, I want you to talk a little bit about Emerge Wisconsin and what your part is, and when the next season of candidates are.
Yeah. So I am the executive director of Emerge Wisconsin, and we are an organization that trains and recruits Democratic women and non-binary folks who feel comfortable in female-centered spaces. And we train them on how to run for office. It's a 6-month training that we do about once a month. And we are going to be starting our next cohort. We are currently in the process of reviewing the application to our class of 2025, which is really exciting. There's a lot of really amazing and talented folks that have submitted applications, and I'm really excited to get to know them and work with them and help them along their path and towards running for office and helping make our government operate well, and things like using science, data, and in order to and caring about people and caring about making decisions that will do the most for the most amount of people.
Yeah, and I guess too, we talked about this before. After the election, I needed a few days off. But it's time to rev up again, and we have midterms coming up, but also there's a lot of elections in Wisconsin that are coming up soon.
Oh yeah, we are now in our nomination period. So for our spring elections, Wisconsin has spring elections every year. We have a couple of statewide races on our ballot this year. We will be electing a Supreme Court judge, and the justice whose seat is up is on the conservative side. So we are looking to grow our progressive majority on the Supreme Court, and we are also looking to reelect our state superintendent of schools, and Dr. Jill Underly, who is actually, fun note, an alumna of Emerge Wisconsin. So we are really excited for her to run for re-election. We're really excited to get to work on this Supreme Court race. Plus, spring elections is where Wisconsin does all of our local races. So anything that is county, municipal, or school board related, those happen in the spring. And so we will be electing local officials all across the state. I believe here in Madison, where I am, we're going to be electing county board supervisors. And that may vary across the state depending on where you live. But we don't stop. We keep going, and December 1st, the month of December, is when folks that want to get on the ballot need to go out and get their signatures. So candidates are out right now, going out in their districts, wherever they're running, to collect signatures so they can get their names on the ballot.
That's excellent. And for people that don't know this, and Haley, I had the opportunity to be kind of an MC announcer for the Wisconsin convention, Democratic convention, and I got to see our sister Arvina be the rock star that she is in person, and all the people, the movers and shakers in Wisconsin politics really know Arvina, and so we're really happy to have her on and talk about what's happening in Wisconsin, but nationally too.
Yeah, proud to know her and proud to stay in tune with Wisconsin politics. I even have my WisDem shirt on right now.
I noticed that, the Native Coalition t-shirt. Yeah, I have that shirt.
Yeah. Hey, matching.
Yay.
You should have told me. I would have worn mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also, Arvina, I want to remind everyone too, and one of the things that we're taught not to brag, and you are the first Native American city council member. I know you call it different in Madison, but that's something really to hang your hat on too, for a couple reasons. That's a ceiling breaker, but also I love the city of Madison.
I love the city of Madison too, born and raised here. And it was a tremendous honor to be able to serve my friends and neighbors. I served on the Madison Common Council. I was an alder for about 5 years, and I was vice president of the council my last year. And I ultimately left when I got my job at Emerge, because they say being on city council is part-time, but I can tell you that you could work 60, 80 hours a week on city council stuff and still be behind. It's a lot of work. So having one job was all I had time for.
Yeah. Well,
but I can't wait until we get our second Native person elected to that body. I will be there cheering them on. I'm so excited. I gotta find somebody to run.
Yeah, definitely. I got notes here, and one of them is that you started watching The Vow of Silence, the assassination of Anna May.
I did.
I was able to watch the whole thing in 2 days, and Wendy and I were. It was interesting for me, and I don't know how far you're into it, but it was interesting that it was kind of slanted at. Again, separating us, and there's a lot of moving parts because they're human beings that are involved in this, but kind of slanted towards the badness of the American Indian movement, which I kind of found a little distressing, when I believe that the FBI really had a lot to do with whether it was separating us or trying to blow up the American Indian movement, because they were really fearful of them.
Well, and two things can be true at once,
Right.
there can, and I think that we have to, misbehavior within the American Indian movement does not negate the fact that there was horrific injustices being perpetrated by the FBI and the federal government. And that's just part of, it's part of the situation. And I've heard rumblings to the same effect that there were some internal strife and I'm only on episode 2, so I'm halfway through. So I haven't gotten there yet to the end. But I was really interested in the fact that they talk about the takeover of the novitiate in Wisconsin on the Menominee Reservation. That was something I didn't know about. My dad is Stockbridge Muncie, and the Stockbridge Muncie Reservation is adjacent to the Menominee Reservation, and that's where my dad's side of the family all grew up, and a lot of folks still live. And presumably my dad knew about that kind of but that's not something I ever heard about growing up, and so I didn't get taught in schools.
Right.
And I guess I didn't know that the takeover there had an impact, it had a bigger impact nationwide than I had thought. I didn't realize how big a deal that event was.
Well, and it made Anna May join the American Indian movement. Basically,
Mhm.
it changed her life, and the footage, the storytelling, the even the like you said, could be two truths happening at the same time. I think one of the things that's always interesting when we sometimes have a colonized mindset, that we have a lot of jealousies going on too, that was brought up I remember the first segment too, because Anna Mae was a doer, and we run into that with our own people sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. And I think another thing that I think is an undercurrent in the whole, I mean, in the first two episodes, from what I've seen, I can definitely tell that there's an undercurrent of gender relation strife there. And I think that is very much a result of colonialization. Our systems of government and systems of being were disrupted, and we took on ways similar to the government, the conquering government. And I think that kind of jealous, especially because anime was on the doing side, didn't want to just be stuck in the kitchen.
Right. Exactly. Good point. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, and Groovy Ho-Chunk, which I always like to bring up because now there's three of us on. Yay! Hey, this is Native Roots Native Roots Radio. We'll be right back.
Celebrate the holiday season with Open Eye Theater's Scrooge and Rouge, a hilarious twist on the classic Christmas Carol. Last year's critically acclaimed hit musical returns with outrageous costumes, sassy lyrics, and side-splitting performances by an all-star cast. It's guaranteed to get your spirits soaring. Scrooge and Rouge runs through December 29th. Get your tickets now at openeyetheater.org. Again, that's tickets at openeyetheater.org.
Step into the world of movement and Native culture at Nimiwen, now showing at All My Relations Arts. Nimiwen is translated as Everyone Dance. This moving multimedia exhibition, curated by Josie Hoffman, delves into the connection between movement and identity, drawing inspiration from dance and powwow traditions. It showcases the work of Indigenous artists from Minnesota, emphasizing the fluidity of movement in our bodies, land, and community. Witness Nimiwen and its powerful expression on Indigenous art, on display now through January 18th at All My Relations Arts in Minneapolis. Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Again, that's vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
Support for Native Roots Radio comes from the Walker Arts Center. Visit during free Thursday nights. Every week from 5 to 9 p.m., there's something new to explore. Enjoy date-friendly events like artist talks, performances, and exhibition openings, or explore art making, open library hours, and exhibition tours. Settle into your weekend among community. Free every Thursday night and free every day for members and citizens of tribal nations. Learn more at walkerart.org. Again, that's walkerart.org.
Greg Bakken here. Like you, I love good, fresh, delicious food. So I want to tell you about this treasure in Roseville called Maverick's Real Roast Beef. Maverick's has the best roast beef sandwiches I've ever had. Made fresh, every order. Add fries or onion rings dropped in the fryer when ordered, and you have a winning combination. Maverick's Real Roast Beef has a lot more than roast beef, so check out their website, mavericksbeef.com, or check out their restaurant on Lexington in Roseville.
Hi, I'm Mary T, inviting you to experience our integrative Mary T Health and Wellness Center, offering physical, occupational, speech, and lymphedema therapies. Experience our guided imagery, meditation, Tibetan medicine, dry needling, massage services, including cupping and oncology massage. Sign up for our free wellness screenings and learn more at marytwellness.com. All major health insurance providers are accepted. Come for therapy, experience wellness.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilio. Cloudy tonight with a low of 7 above. Strong winds expected, gusting up to 45 miles per hour. Wind chills of 10 below. Then Thursday, sunshine with a high of 18. Chef Carrie's always cooking up something new and exciting at Nightingale in Minneapolis on the corner of 26th and Lyndale in the Whittier neighborhood. View their menu or place a takeout order at nightingalempls.com.
AM 950 KTNF St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Hey, we're back here with our friend Arvina Martin, Emerge Wisconsin Executive Director, and we're kind of just talking a little bit about the vow of silence, the assassination of Anna Mae Osquash. That's on, I believe it's Hulu, right?
Hulu. Yep.
Yeah, I have all these streaming things and I can't keep them straight. Jeez, and I'm not bragging. And believe me, it's like cut the cord, and all of a sudden, anyways, that's another story of another show. But it's interesting. We were talking a little bit about the American Indian movement, and I know for not a fact, but I've had friends like Madonna Thunderhawk on, who is an OG from all the way from Alcatraz to Line 3 at everything, including Wounded Knee, and they were the workers. The women were the workers. I think the press kind of fell in love with a couple of these males that were out in front, but we as natives really know better that Russell and Dennis were kind of the flavor of the month in the press, where the women really did the work.
Doing everything in the background, like cooking and making sure taking care of everybody. That is only given kind of a glancing pass at acknowledgement is very frustrating. And I think, they talk about Annie Mae wanting to be on the front lines and doing those things and not being stuck in the kitchen. And you were talking about jealousy earlier. There could have been, lots of jealousy or people upset because someone was doing something that was different. It's just, and then the seeds sown by the FBI to make everybody so paranoid over everyone. It's just kind of unfortunately a perfect storm of things to create a terrible situation like the one that happened, like her murder.
Exactly. And I don't feel, and again, you're only on 2, and I don't know, Haley, if you were able to finish it yet, but I think one of the things that really needed to be talked about more was that they cut her hands off, the FBI. They did all these things as if she was not a human being. And I don't think they talked about that enough. And they talked about more of the strife between factions of the American Indian movement and, people denying knowing about it, and, making that it's, let me just say this though, Arvina, this documentary is well done.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, and I don't know why I always say this, but I was really pleasantly surprised, especially the first segment about the history of AIM and the history of all the things that came up to that. We talk about Leonard Peltier here all the time. He was a guest on our show, but there's factions back and forth that say that he had something to do with it. And so it gets really murky, but I also feel like the best way to, which the FBI wanted to do, is get rid of the American Indian movement because they were powerful, is to divide us.
That's the easiest way, is to sow seeds of doubt and watch the organization implode. they try to do that with everybody who they are not, that they want to get rid of. That way they can kind of keep their hands clean too, that, well, I didn't do it, they fell apart by themselves. It's all part of that giant plan. And I think for some people that might not be a part of the Native community, it's you don't want to think of your government and the FBI doing things like that to fellow American citizens. And we know that it happens. And I think I think that this documentary is a good step in the right direction. I agree with you, talking about the history of the organization and about Annie Mae before she joined AIM. Talking. This is just a topic that is so important and never gets taught in schools. We never talk about any of this in school, and that's a shame. And I think, especially given the potential, times that we are anticipating with this new administration, there's probably going to be a lot of organizing, and while a lot of the organizing is going to be the kind of civic organizing that is, we want you to get involved, we want you to vote, we want you to communicate with your elected officials, tell them what that you support A, B, and C, those kinds of things. But you never know if there are going to be organizations that feel that taking a more militant standpoint and more militant tactics, perhaps, is a better term. That we have the possibility of that kind of sentiment fermenting, at this point in our history, I think.
I agree, and I believe too that a lot of this started after Dakota Access Pipeline. I really truly believe that the 7 fires did spread across the nation. We had things happen. George Floyd was murdered. It was a big part of it, but we had a professional football team change their name that no one would ever say that they would change their name. We had
a baseball team too.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And they were in process to changing it, the Cleveland team, but there was no way the Washington team, the owner said that he'd ever change it, and he ended up having to sell because of the pushback. So by bringing that up, we still have power as a community, and we still have that where maybe AIM opened up the doors, but I believe your generation and the generation before you is really wide open. Their eyes are wide open to what's going on.
And the generation that is still young now, eyes wide open is a really great way of putting it. I think that the other thing that has been helping is that we are branching out in different ways of being activists, of advocating for our communities, for policy that treats us with respect, and fulfills the promises that were made to us, and we're able to attack issues and problems from multiple sides. And I think that makes it so much easier. Back in the day, there was only, kind of one way, and that was the AIM way, to go about doing things. And we have so many more options now, due to people who had vision, who could see, and I say this not to say that the folks in AIM did not have vision. They certainly did, and certainly do. But folks with different kinds of visions coming in and saying, we can do this on this end here while you're doing that way over here. We'll start a letter writing campaign. You go out there, we will handle getting you all of the of the supplies you need to get out to Standing Rock. Like there's multiple ways. We've got attorneys working on things, attorneys from within our communities. We've got professionals in all different fields that work for our communities, that work really hard to make our communities better. And so we have different experiences, but then we also have different ways of seeing the world. So our approach to solving the problem is going to be different, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so we have all of these options that we can use, and it, many hands make light work. Is that what that saying is? I feel like I always get sayings and start at one point and then I end and I've completely messed up the saying. But more, and I think it helps to get more people to see themselves in a movement and to see that there are different roles to play. And
Haley brought up a good point when a good quote, and we talked about it with State Representative Keeler, and that quote, Haley, if you mind, probably
I don't
caught you by surprise there, but I mean, it had to do with all these people that were removed from their tribes into the cities.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
it had to do. Oh, I think I have it right here. Doug George in episode 1 said that American Indians were relocated in the 1950s and put into urban areas where they were expected to blend in with the greater American society. But the point was to obliterate the heritage and culture. But he said once you put our native people together, like Lakotas with the Mohawks and the Kiowa with the Chumash, something magical was bound to happen. And instead of killing the native spirit, relocation became the seeds by which contemporary native movements began. So there's that.
I like that quote.
Yeah. I make Haley say it every other day, I guess. Sorry, Haley.
It's okay. It's a good one.
It's like the lotus flower growing in the muck. Out of something terrible and a mess, here is something good that came out of it. And I think that shows the resiliency and the tenacity of Native people, and shows why we're still here. Evolving and adapting to the situations as they come. And situations rapidly seem to be changing just all the time now. And so we have to kind of, in order to continue all the work, we all need to be doing our parts in whatever way that is. And there are so many different ways that it could be. It could, we've named some of them: writing letters, suing, being parts of lawsuits. There's so many ways. Cooking and helping feed the people. Like there's a place for everybody, and it's just a matter of somebody finding that spot that where they fit it. The piece of the puzzle and where it fits.
Right. Well, and two, we're going to let you go, Arvina, but two, running for office, becoming doctors, lawyers in the community and helping their community, so we're not a burden to the community, that we are leaders in the community.
And we use our skills to help each other. And that way we don't have to all know everything. We can go to people who specialize in it, and and it all gets better.
Right on. Good way to end it. Pinigigi Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Merge Wisconsin. Thank you so much for being on, as always.
Thank you so much for having me. It was lovely.
We'll see you. We'll be right back. Native Roots Radio.
It's okay to talk about mental health. It's okay to struggle. And it's okay to ask for help. It's important that we support one another and work together to end the stigma so that we can start to tell a different story about mental health and well-being in our community. If you're looking for support for yourself or want to find resources for a loved one, visit makeitokay.org to get started. That's makeitokay.org.
As we age, it's important to invest in our health and to help protect it. Like the flu, COVID-19 is always changing. That's why it's important to stay up to date on your vaccines. By getting the flu and COVID-19 vaccines, you can renew your body's defenses and lower the risk of getting sick. Get your health boost and protect yourself against the flu and COVID. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. Again, that's vaccines.gov. Vaccines.gov.
Programming on Native Roots Radio is supported in part by MNsure. Looking for health insurance, but not sure where to start? MNsure has you covered. You can find discounts, compare private health plans, and see if you qualify for free or low-cost insurance. Plus, get help from an expert so you save on the coverage you need. Enroll online by December 18th for coverage starting January 1st. Get started today at mnsure.org. That's mnsure.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis Air dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis Air on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Hi, this is Governor Walz. Thank you for listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations.
Hey, ooh, that was a strong howl from way up north in Red Lake. Hey, Bob, before I get you on here, I want to just read Lori's response to what we were talking about real quick, and I just want to buzz through it really quick. She was glad that the documentary was done, well done. Felt some things were watered down, like Anna Mae's kidnapping and how her family had to go to Washington, D.C. to fight to get her hands back. The first false autopsy, and the second one Annie Mae's family had done. So much corruption and heartbreak. I appreciate that, Lori. I appreciate you listening to Native Roots Radio, and that's really great points. Hey, I want to introduce our friend Bob Blake from Red Lake, a solar bear with the solar news, and award-winning. We can't get you on the radio show. You're too busy flying around getting awards.
Right? I know, it's crazy. Robert, I mean, that whole everything that happened out there in Wounded Knee is just such a, you know what I mean? Like, just, I heard you guys talking about it, and it brings back so many memories, and just everything that just the mishandling of it by the FBI and just everyone involved. It's such a terrible tragedy for, it just seems like everybody that was around in that space. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And just I always like talking about how we're all related and how connected we are. You had a relative design the American Indian Movement logo.
Yeah, Steve Blake. Big, may he rest in peace. And he was growing up, at least at my home, we also had a lot of the Aimsters, around, coming over. They were around Bill, I mean, Beverly Bill, and right. So, it just being around that kind of, and influenced, right, by that activism. My grandmother, Nellie Spears, who started the St. Paul American Indian Club,
right.
And just being around that, I think I had no idea that I would be organizing or be in this activism space I thought I was just going to be a cop. I really thought I was just going to become a cop and that would be it. But, my mother and them bringing me to like DFL, rallying for Geraldine Ferraro. You know what I mean? Like, all that was like a big, all those kind of spaces that they were in really played a big part in, my upbringing and my views on the world, and, running for public office myself, and then, getting a graduate degree in policy, and, doing all those things. So yeah, exactly. Wow, there's an oldie but goodie. Oh, right.
I'm putting up a postcard of Bob Blake running for city council that as I'm
Well,
cleaning my office here.
yeah, and then Robert, I mean, I ended up playing the saxophone, right?
Wow.
Because of my influence of being Brown, Brown the drum and bugle corps around the St. Paul Scouts and you
Right.
guys. So
Right.
I got into music at a very young age, because of the influence that I got from all of watching you guys and then traveling around when I was a kid, seeing you guys going through DC and doing all that, stuff. I mean, it was very influential. So yeah, good times.
What's interesting too, I wanted to mention this. I wanted to mention because you're a big football fan too, is that Travis's brother talked about when he retired, the center for the Eagles. I can't think of his first name, but he said how important it was that he was in the band because the band taught you how to practice, how to get it right, and all these things that he brought along on the football field. And you're kind of talking about that too, with all these things you connect the dots backwards and to figure out where you are right now all makes sense.
Right. I mean, I can recall as a little kid being around, Andy Clausen, who went on to go and teach at Drake University,
He's a professor at Drake.
Yeah, and being around Andy, growing up around Andy and Bill, and seeing how they prepared their trumpets, right, for band. Obviously we went to St. Bernard, so I can recall as a kid, like in first grade, like ironing my shirt and putting my tie together and getting, preparing my football equipment and having my band equipment. And I remember jumping on the city bus and the locals in my community would be like, "Where are you moving every day, little man?" They would say to me, "Little man, where are you moving every day?" But that discipline, right? And second grade, I mean, what does that? Who does that now? I mean, I don't know, but
Right.
that was how we grew up, and it was just expected. And I'm really thankful for that, Robert, because it's really paid off in dividends in my life and the
Yeah.
things I've been able to accomplish and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, it's an amazing thing when we connect the dots backwards, where we're from and all those things. It's funny too when when I can't stop. I have to butt in here before you give us the solar news here, but I just had to say we always used to call it St. Bernard's St. Barnyards.
Hey, I remember going over to play football against Nativity over in Highland Park all the time. I remember going up saying, "Those are the cake eaters. We're the tough kids. We're the tough Christian kids. We're gonna go in there." But it was, all that though was really formative in my early years, and was really happy to be so lucky to have grown out and great friends to this day. As a matter of fact, Robert. Hey, Robert, interesting. The solar manufacturing industry. I need to tell you this. Produced 9.3 gigawatts of solar module manufacturing capacity. Yes. Oh yeah, Heather. Yeah, congrats on the native. Oh yes, exactly. There's a story on that too, by the way.
State Representative Heather Keeler put up congrats on the Native Nation Rebuilders Cohort.
Yeah, there's a big story on that too. Thank you, Heather. Appreciate that. Yeah, there's a big story on that whole thing too. We'll go on that another day. But check this out, Robert. 9.3 gigawatts of solar manufacturing for modules has been completed in the United States. And what we're looking at here, and this is all the investment that happened from the Biden administration, right?
Yeah.
And these are American jobs, Robert. These are American jobs. And you want to know something crazy? A big portion of this is in Republican areas. I mean,
right.
I think that's incredible because, like, when you think about, like, you know, the repeal of the Inflation Reduction Act, which is what they're talking about right now, would just be, you know, I think really stupid, you know. So I'm just saying that we in this country can go ahead and manufacture solar panels, and we can supply all the solar projects that we need in the United States, and we can put Americans to work. So just want to let you know, Robert, that is what's happening. And I've got more information. If you go to my Facebook, you'll see that we've got the new solar data sheet out, and it talks about all the great jobs and everything happening across the country. And I will be in Parker, Arizona on Monday speaking at a conference out there. And so if you can check that out. Miigwech, Robert. That's the Solar Bear with the Solar News.
Skol Vikings.
Skol Vikings. Yes. Let's go from 11-2, guys. 11-2.
We'll be back tomorrow on Native Roots Radio.
It's the time of the year where we begin to see the snow fly. If your vehicle needs to get ready for the winter driving ahead, take it